Good morning, everyone. This is a follow-up to a recent video I did about goals I have for 2026. And excuse my voice, I'm under the weather. I shared a video on how I made my goal planner, and I did not specifically mention the goals that I have personally, but one of them is to write a cookbook by the end of the year for my daughter and my son. In this little bin, I think I got this fabric bin at the Dollar Tree or Walmart years and years ago, and I've always just thrown my recipes right in there. It's full of recipes and other things, apparently, like my little tote bag charm. There are articles, there are recipes from newspapers, there's recipes from magazines, there are notebooks full of my own recipes, there are little publications that came from the grocery store checkout stand. So what I plan on doing here is typing all of the recipes into a Word document. And by the end of 2026, I will have my own cookbook, not to publish to make money, but to pass down to my own family. Some of the recipes I probably won't even type in here if I've never made them myself, but for the majority of recipes that I have cooked with, I will add them to the book, especially my own recipes that I've developed over the years. So as you see here in my goal planner, I just created a page with my cookbook goal, which is at least one entry every day until Christmas, when I hope to have it published for my family. So in the first page of my goal planner, I just jotted down some categories: Christmas cookies, my grandmother's recipes, or my kids' grandmother's recipes, sides, baked goods, dinners, and my own recipes. I'm sure I'll be adding categories as I go, but those are the ones that I just jotted down from memory. So here we have a Word document, and I have a category in here labeled desserts. And then I started with the cheesecake because I made 2 cheesecakes after Christmas this year for birthdays. And I have 2 recipes. Neither one are my own recipe. One is a homemade cheesecake recipe. I don't know where I found this recipe, probably online somewhere. Years ago I made it. This year I used boxed cheesecake mixes from Jell-O brand. But as you can see, there's a homemade version and there's a boxed mix version. And because I'm sick, unfortunately, I've only entered recipes on one day. However, on that one day, I did enter quite a few. I started a dinner category, and I started with the chicken wings. I have a recipe in one of my YouTube videos of the chicken wings I make. And I made pepperoni bread over the holidays, so that's a holiday category. And I also made prime rib. So you can see, I pretty much started with the latest recipes I made because they were fresh on my mind, having had just made them. So even though I have only entered one day's worth of typing into Word, I've done 3 recipes so far. Now what I plan on doing is, because I'm already behind, because I'm sick, I will just make up for it by entering more than one entry when I feel better. So I might enter 2 or 3 recipes a day until I kind of catch up with myself. The ultimate goal here, though, is to have a cookbook I can publish at the end of the year. And what I plan on doing is just getting 3 reminders and putting the recipes, printing them out, probably on colored paper too, and probably based on the categories, like different color paper for different categories. I'll make my own tabs. I'll probably use some sheet protectors for each of the headers and the recipes. And of course, without fail, because I'm filming, somebody is going on, and I don't even know what that is. A chainsaw, always, all the time. It never fails. I thought of this idea years ago, but I finally got around to doing it, and I made it a goal for myself this year. Sometimes it doesn't matter how long it takes you to accomplish something, but once you stick your mind to it and really work at it and make it a goal or a priority in your life, I have no doubt you'll get it done. So by the end of 2026, hopefully, if I'm still on YouTube, which I plan on being, you'll see the end result of this. And I'll have a cookbook to pass down to my kids. I wish my grandmother had done that for me My grandmother was an extraordinary cook, and all her recipes, she made up her own. She didn't use a recipe book. She left me this little baking tin, this vintage Bisquick tin, and in it were a couple of handwritten recipes. I've since copied them or rewrote them out or typed them up, and I gave them to family members that wanted her recipes. But unfortunately, a lot of the recipes that she made up on her own were not included in my little tin, like her, what she called a super duper soup. It was a beef stew with vegetables, and nobody knows how to make it. And that's exactly why I'm doing this, because I don't want to leave my kids later in life not knowing how I made a dish that they grew up loving. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really encourage you to do the same if you're looking to leave your children a legacy of your cooking or your recipes. It's going to be a fun project, a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.